Alright YouTube, so it's time to make a video that's going to make Vegan Gains, Freely the Banana Girl, and Onision all die of congestive heart failure sequentially after watching this video. I'm here to talk about why vegans could only survive today due to modern advances, why it's not a natural diet for humans, and how meat help evolve the human race. But first, let's debunk a common myth that a lot of vegans like to say, which is meat is incredibly bad for you. They like to say it can promote cancer, yada yada yada. Well, that might be true if you're eating enormous quantities of meat day by day. I don't think the average Joe who maybe eats 4 grams of meat maybe a day, or if you're like me, you have meat like every other day. I don't think that's really that bad. It's not that bad. In fact, humans have actually, they have evolved digestive systems which can break down the fatty acids in meat. We evolved to eat meat, and it actually helped advance our brain development incredibly fast. A lot of vegans like to say, well, you just put spices and herbs on it, and you put seasonings on it, and you cook it. Why don't you just eat it raw? You can't eat a lot of meat raw. I eat a lot of my meat raw. I eat a lot of beef raw. I also eat a lot of fish raw. That's just because of personal diet preference. I think it tastes better, as well as it's supposed to be better for my blood type to eat more raw types of meat and get more acid or oils like flax oil and stuff in our system. I'm O negative, by the way. There's a lot of vitamins in meat. It's packed with vitamins. It's nutritionally packed. It's got B12, niacin, creatine, which stimulates and holds energy reserves in both the muscles and the brain. I probably already said iron, but you don't want to get too much of that. Let's take a moment and talk about why vegans could only survive in modern times. Vegans can only survive in modern times because of the agricultural revolution, and even then, not really. But the term agricultural revolution is a little debated. Are we talking about the Neolithic revolution when prehistoric man stopped hunting and gathering and started using more agricultural techniques? Or are we talking about the Arab agricultural revolution, etc., etc. Think back more than 10,000 years ago when man hadn't discovered farming. You wouldn't be able to survive as a vegan. You couldn't have vegan colonies. This wouldn't even be a lifestyle choice. There would be no question of it. This isn't like a jungle where it's just abundant of fruit. We're talking like a group of early humans out in a steppe climate that maybe have a couple bushes of berries to pick from. For one, you're eating one type of food that's probably lacking in other nutrients, making your bones brittle, making you stick thin and look ill, and it's just not gonna sustain life enough to where you could repopulate. I also want to point out that these vegans seem to be a little insensitive to other cultures where they don't really have the climate to grow crops, like the Inuit people, the Eskimos, most of the steppe people in the steppe desert region. Most people in tundras that are only that their vegetation is limited to a couple different types of shrubbery that's usually dead, and some certain types of grasses. Due to advanced agricultural systems, it is possible now to live a vegetable-only lifestyle in which you, well, arguably don't need meat. Sorry, my bad. Let's shift gears onto what I was talking about before. Wait, let me wrap up this surplus thing. You have to remember that even as early as, or as late as the 19th century, 18th century, 1700s, 1800s, we didn't still have these surpluses. You would still have to eat meat to sustain life. The reason humans eat meat is because it's a survival instinct, because sometimes things get famine. Sometimes there's a famine that breaks out. Sometimes a blight affects the plants and kills them. Your whole crop's destroyed, so now you're living off of wall-dry meat for the winter. You just couldn't live off of a vegan lifestyle even as late as those times. There wasn't really a central market for food trading. You basically bought produce or grew it yourself. I'm not talking about urban areas. I'm talking like still when the country was mostly a rural area, minus a couple port cities. Now, going back to why meat is good for you, like I said before, it's packed with tons of proteins. It's B12, niacin, I think that's vitamin B3, iron, zinc, and I think selenium, or whatever that funky ass mineral name is. I have an acquaintance that I've known for almost a decade now. He used to be a vegetarian. His family was, they still are these happy-go-lucky. We practice Zen, and we have an acupuncture studio, Happy Hippies, in northwestern Indiana. No offense if you're watching this, by the way, if you ever do watch this. But his brother, a couple years back, got diabetes, and the doctor told him he needed to start eating meat because it had certain things that would help his blood pressure or blood sugar levels, I think it was, that vegetables just simply couldn't offer. Like, just think of this. Would you rather have 4 grams of beef to get protein, or would you rather scarf down 2 fucking pounds of broccoli in order to get the same amount of protein as meat? I have a theory as to why Freely the Banana Girl, I used to watch her when I was kind of thinking about going vegetarian. You can obviously tell that wasn't the case, but about 2 years ago I started watching her. She's, like, back then I was like, oh, I need to, like, eat 18 stone fruits, like peaches, apricots, and stuff. Smoothies, etc., etc. I literally think that she binge eats on fruit because she doesn't get the necessary amount of protein in order to feel full for her body to adequately process. I'm not even going to touch Onision because talking about him would be kind of like beating on a dead horse is like burnt ashes at this point. And there's a lot of speculation that he's a fake vegan. He doesn't even practice veganism. Vegan Gains and the other two have these mentalities and militant philosophies to which, if you're not a vegan, you deserve to die, because why would you be okay with the slaughtering of other animals, but you yourself are an animal? And their heart's kind of in the right place, despite the we should kill meat eaters philosophy. I could see why they don't like to see animals eaten, because they just see it as a dead creature and not necessarily food. They're young souls in my mind. But take into account that not all animals are treated in the way that PETA would like you to believe. They're rounded up in these giant factory farms and they're beaten brutally. Actually, PETA is the one that supposedly kills these animals. They're being hypocritical in their message, telling you not to slaughter animals and go vegan or vegetarian, and that's what gets me. Why don't they advocate for like buying from local producers instead of factory farm, like, you know, the Purdue chicken or just, you know, McDonald's Krabby Patty, what the fuck? McDonald's Big Mac. I don't know why I said Krabby Patty. I don't even have SpongeBob on the brain right now. Instead, they're like, we need to go vegetarian and vegan to indirect protests. What is that supposed to mean? Are we supposed to go back to meat eating after these companies agree to stop factory farming? You need to show an alternative, like buying at local farmers markets or meetups or rendezvous, whatever your area calls them. We call it the European market here. That will get meat eaters on board with your message. Yes, factory farming is fucked up, but show them a solution or an alternative that doesn't involve not eating meat, because people just laugh at you at that point. And lastly, I want to go on the topic of why I feel all three of these seem to be, you know, the big three of internet veganism that have turned vegetarianism and veganism from a lifestyle into a dirty word on the internet. I feel their views are so militant because they may be lacking vitamins that something like meat would give them. Like I've already stated, Freely the Banana Girl is eating fucking like 20 fucking peaches in a sitting, scarfing down pasta in order to sustain. That's not sustainable. Onision doesn't want to talk to you if you've eaten meat, and Vegan Gains went as far as to possibly killing his own grandfather for eating meat. There is something fucked up in the head of these people, and I think it's due to their nutrition. Oh, and Onision, I've taken drugs, drank, and smoked cigarettes. Fucking judge me, bitch. Anyways, this has been AK Sliced You. Peace out. You like this video, subscribe. If you're a vegan, you're going to troll in the comments, go ahead. I'll be happy to make rebuttals and rebuke your statements in the comments below. Peace out.